when I see these things, for me, it's heart-wrenching and it's very disturbing. I mean, if you look at the fact that northern part of this country is one of the most deprived, economically, and we tend to spend more time fighting amongst ourselves and destroying the properties and making businesses that are operating in the area, making their lives very uncomfortable, and people who are there offering social services. Something just doesn't add up. Because in one breath, we're saying we want development. In another breath, we're always fighting amongst ourselves. Look what's happening in Bawku and what has happened to the majority leader's house, the MP for Bawku Central, Mahama Ayariga. Now, today's Daily Guide newspaper reports that a restive municipality of Bawku in the Upper East region is engulfed in violence again, with one fatality recorded. Also reported was the setting ablaze of the residence of the majority leader in parliament, Mahama Ayariga, and the divisional police commander, ACP Adamu Seidu. 2 other individuals are reported to be critically injured in the renewed clashes on Wednesday. Signs of impending strife were visible after a press conference by some Kusasi youth, during which they slammed President John Mahama for not fulfilling his promise to address the Bawku conflict. They also attacked the majority leader, promising that in elections to come, both the NDC and the presidential candidates would receive 0 votes in the ballot boxes. Now, once this clash was reportedly triggered when one of the factions involved in the prolonged chieftaincy dispute ordered women from the opposition faction who were trading in their market to leave immediately. Then there was a confrontation that ensued, prompting the police to move in to restore order. Now, some armed youth reportedly opened fire, prompting the police to respond. During the exchange, one civilian lost his life and others sustained injuries, and incensed youth during the exchange charged at the private residence of the police commander and set it ablaze. I mean, look, the police service was forced to evacuate personnel from the barracks. In addition, the police barracks and a security vehicle were also set on fire. Earlier, a Bawku group expressed disappointment in President Mahama and the majority leader during a press conference. According to them, political parties were using the Bawku conflict to advance their causes. They accused the majority leader, whose mother is a Mampushi, of showing little concern when a woman and her baby were killed in a house not far from his own in Bawku. They also criticized the visit to Bawku by the president and the majority leader, alleging that other members of parliament from the area were excluded. How do you feel about some of these disturbances? And you know that it's been happening for a very long time. And we can't seem to find a way of nipping this in the bud.
You see, Moro, until you have lost a loved one, you will not appreciate the need for some peaceful settlement. I mean, I've had friends who come from Bawku. In recent times, one of them, whose father died, and per the Muslim tradition, he had to rush to Bawku for the dua. On his return, I mean, he and everybody in the vehicle got killed. And it was not in the news. It was not carried in any of the newspapers. What it tells me is that these things go on a daily basis. People are being killed for nothing.
You mean the fatalities and the casualties are even underreported?
It's underreported. And Moro, the Bawku conflict brings to bear a societal challenge.
Okay.
The level of indiscipline in our system is quite worrying. I mean, people do not respect law and order. People do not, give credence to leadership. The break of trust in leadership is quite worrying. I mean, because how can you have a president visit a conflict zone, the president leaves, and you have a problem that the president failed to invite other members of parliament? Do you know what the other members of parliament were doing in Accra?
Yeah.
I mean, do you have a fair idea of what the other MPs were doing in Accra? And because of that, take the law in your own hands and would want to cause mayhem? I think that the Boko conflict needs an immediate security response and a long-term societal overhaul. I mean, we need to change our mindset. That is what is causing the entire problem.
Yes, so in your short, as you can see, sorry for that rude interruption, but in your shorts are footages of the incident that happened yesterday. It must have been 2 days ago. It must have been 2 days ago, I believe. So, Annie, right? 2 days ago, yes. It must have been 2 days ago. So, you see, look at the houses that were touched. I mean, what do you achieve by doing this?
And how do you repair this?
How do you fix this?
You would want the state to use
like how?
Funds.
And sometimes some of the reasons, as you said, are very flimsy.
Very flimsy. I've been to Boko on 2 occasions, and anytime you enter Boko, there's that fear that you would get attacked and all of that. That should not happen. The young people of Boko, they need more jobs. They need jobs. The people of Boko, they want to see development. And so, if you are a big shot in Boko, and you are fueling this conflict, I think it's about time that we name and shame.
Yeah.
I mean, how do you go and set the House of the Member of Parliament for Boko ablaze? It's something unthinkable, and it brings to bear the indiscipline that we see in society. If you disagree with a directive of the state, if you disagree or you are, I mean, there are channels for recourse. There are channels for recourse. I mean, the Boko case is quite sensitive. I will not sit on radio and want to blame Imam Pusi or want to blame Kusasi and all of that. That is not for me to decide. I mean, I understand that the lives of Otunfo are all involved, and we are praying that they are able to resolve these matters. But to the young people of Boko, there's a need for you to realize that other communities are moving on.
Yeah.
The kids in Boko and the kids in Accra write the same BECE exam. The kids in Boko and the kids in Accra are all yearning to sit in the same university. So please, let's give peace a chance. That is the only way. That is the only way we can survive this turbulent time that we find ourselves. Let's give peace a chance. I'm begging the young people of Boko. It cannot continue this way. It cannot continue this way. That people take the law into their own hands and decide what they want to do. It's a wrong practice. The lack of indiscipline, the lack of discipline, the breakdown of discipline in our society is becoming one too many. And we see it across all spheres of society. People will not adhere to the rule of law. People, I mean, an MP says something and the next moment you have armed men sieging his house. When they are laid down rules, Article 117, 118. I mean, so the indiscipline is gradually getting into every corner of society.
Yeah.
And it's something that has to be arrested.
Yeah.
So I'm praying that the 2-4 committee quickly works. I'm happy that the IGP says that he's moving to Boko.
Yeah.
And that he wants to engage. And I have some confidence in your ONU. I remember in our days in Afai, I mean, anytime we wanted to do a demonstration, the first person who would call would be your ONU.
Yeah.
Trying to tell us to stick to the laid out rules, the routes as agreed, and all of that. And it does so with some passion. I mean, it is not too forceful in its demands.
Yeah.
And for me, that is the kind of leadership we need in resolving this matter. So we are very hopeful that the 2-4 committee, the government, will be able to bring matters to rest in Boko. I mean, we cannot continue this way. Can you imagine the resources that are being channeled to Boko on a daily basis? Military men, police service, they have to be fed.
Just to maintain peace and order.
Yes, ammunitions ought to be bought. All in the name of maintaining peace and order. This money can go into constructing roads in Boko. This money can go into constructing school buildings in Bawku. This money can go into supporting young women in Bawku to start business. So young people of Bawku, please, that should be the focus.